All right, hey everybody, we got the third video regarding polarity as a cult and brainwashing. Now, the interesting thing about this that I have noticed is that any of you who've encountered people who are involved in drugs and drug addiction and that kind of thing, this is very similar. When people are on drugs and when they are in a cult, they share similar traits. So, for example, when they are challenged about the fact that they are in a cult or brainwashed or on drugs, first thing is denial, okay? And the defensiveness when you challenge them, when you hold the mirror up to their face and say, "Hey, I think you're addicted, I think you might be brainwashed," which was the situation that I was in. I presented this to her, and she didn't want to hear it. She was upset that the fact that I said, I think you're brainwashed, and this guy Zach Rody is a cult leader. She didn't like that at all. She defended her guru and philosophy behind it. Because when I would talk to her, it took me a while to figure out what this was all about, what was going on. When I would talk to her, it was kind of like this Zach Rody guy was sitting there, and he had a mask of her face on it, because everything that she talked about was were all of the talking points of this guy and the philosophy. It was just drone parroting talk of all of the talking points of this cult. I'm gonna continue to use that description. Nothing was her own words. Everything was the words of this guy, which I realized after the fact. So that was part of the difficulty of communicating with her, was that she was talking through the filter of this polarity cult dynamic. And it was kind of like with drug addiction again, it was kind of like a 12-step program, but in reverse. Instead of getting you off the addiction, they trying to get you on the shit. They trying to get you addicted to it. So they have programs, they have courses that you take, indoctrination courses where you get brainwashed into it, you get initiated into it full blown. But the worst mistake that she made for me, though, was having me check it out for myself. She said, you should read his books, you should watch his videos. That was a big mistake, because when I watched the videos, the veil was lifted. Okay, I saw behind the curtain at that point that's what she's doing. She's a drone. She's parroting all of these things. None of her thoughts are her own. And yeah, that's if you've never met anybody in a cult or anything like that, that's how it goes. They parrot everything. They drone everything. And yeah, they're locked in. Her mind is locked in a vice. And it's sad, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this woman has lots of great traits. We had lots of commonality, lots of things in common, great conversations outside of this, politics and other social issues. We had fantastic talks as far as that would go in communication. But because when people are dedicated to drugs, when people are dedicated to a cult, all of that goes out the window. They're literally really willing to throw the baby out with the bathwater and bang you over the head with the bathtub after it's done. They want to beat you over the head with the bathtub to get you to change. She was trying to get me to change, to convince me that I needed to change. She didn't need to change because she's locked in the cult. She's locked in the mindset. Her brain is on lock. So therefore, she didn't need to change. I was the one who needed to change. And there's no guarantee, as with women, that no matter what you do, that she's going to be happy with the change. There's always going to be some little nitpicking item that is going to put her in jeopardy of not being safe or not feeling protected or something like that. That's the caveat, like I said in the other video, where they can just jump ship at any time. So let's see. So now, some of the disclaimers that I have is that there may be people who like this. There may be men out there who are like, yeah, I'll go on a one-way street while I'm making all the effort. I'm the one who has to make everything right, and she's not accountable or responsible for anything. Oh, yeah, sure. There's people like that, because there's obviously people in this cult who are going along with the game. Okay, so whatever. One of the examples that he gave, there's some memes where she's not following your lead because you haven't dealt with your issues. She's not going to follow someone who hasn't dealt with their issues. Well, again, that's taking responsibility and accountability off of her. What about her? Maybe she's difficult to deal with, and maybe she can't be led. Maybe the woman can't be led because she has too many issues. Maybe she can't be led because, like my situation, she's completely self-absorbed and self-centered. So again, the blame in this program goes all to the man. The woman is not responsible for or accountable for anything. So the other one, is that one example he gave: men don't get sex, they give it. What does that even mean? Again, if you were in a mutual normal relationship, not a psycho relationship, not a cult relationship, it's a symbiotic relationship. It is a symbiotic existence between you and who is your woman. That's how you mutually give sex. So again, and there's other related to this. There's other stupidity in this program that if a woman initiates or something like that, again, it probably comes back to she's less feminine or some stupidity like that. But it's just totally lopsided, and it is an abnormal thought process that goes in this from top to bottom. Convolution, overcomplication of simple things, and with them there is no such thing as reality in the program. And what do I mean by that? Because fault, as we know, everybody has faults. Now, again, through this woman with her healing and all of these other things, she felt as though she had no faults, even though I pointed them out to her. But again, through this cult, it is a fantasy that she is looking for the guy that's going to have a 100% of what it is that she's looking for, which, as we know, in reality, in the real world, nobody is perfect. Everybody has faults. There was only one perfect man that walked the face of the earth. What is this? Changing our... Oh, right. So, changing over time. That was a point that I had on there. I can't even understand my own handwriting here. But yes, things change over time. People change over time. So, no, perfection at one moment may not be perfection at another moment. You can be in a relationship where somebody can happen. Anything can happen, and that can change the dynamics of the relationship. I'm not a relationship guru. I'm just talking about shit that happens common sense every day. Right? So nobody is perfect, but relationships, and I've seen this with people who've been in married for 40, almost 50 years. Sometimes there are, potentially bad things that happen, and they're a learning experience, and people grow from that. They can grow from that. So this is based in 100% fantasy, geared towards women, that they can have a perfect relationship. They can find the perfect guy, and he'll meet all my needs. He'll meet all my needs, and he'll protect me and make me feel safe, and I don't have to reciprocate at all. It's all his work. It's all on him. So again, it is the traditional angle hook that they bring in to get men in that are interested in that, just like she did. We talked about the traditional situation, marriage and roles and all that kind of stuff, and that's what brought me in. I was like, oh yeah, I'm about that. So I got brought in through that angle, and it caught me off guard at first, but then when I caught the rake, like them say in Jamaica, you step on the rake, you catch the rake. You step on a rake, you get smacked in the face, and you wake up. You're like, oh, whoa, hey, wait a minute, this ain't what I think it is. So again, it is a huge loss, because again, like with drugs and other things, when people are locked into these things, they're willing to throw away. They don't care. They only have a single vision. They have a tunnel vision, and they don't care about any of the peripheral things that may be way more beautiful and greater than that, which is what I experienced. She's just willing to throw all of the great commonality and positivity and positive things that we did have going on, because she's in lockstep with this and blind. So for you guys out there, do not get caught up in this. I'm telling you, don't get caught up in this. It's detrimental to you. It is not man-oriented at all. It's under the guise of that. That's the smoke screen that they put out to you in the beginning. But it's a trap. It is a relationship trap. And it's absolutely a cult. So if you hear about it, if you know a woman, oh yes, I'm into polarity, I believe in men leading, and so forth and so on, or some guy comes up, hey man, I got a program that can help your relationships. You turn around and you run away as fast as you can, like your hair is on fire. You heard? So anyway, that's all I have. If there's any other details that somebody else comes up with, leave them in the comment section. Anything you think I've missed. Okay, take care, avoid it, it's a cult.